Parties has a history in their family businesses of leaving neighborhoods in disarray, abandoned, toxic waste. We don't need that in a residential neighborhood, and their word is not good for anything as far as being good neighbors. The development investment does not enhance our quality of life or support walkable neighborhoods as defined in our comprehensive plan. We have chosen to be the residents of Birmingham. They have not. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name is Lisa Lewis, and I live at 2000 20th Street South. The proposed car wash for our neighborhood is just down the street from me. And let me just say, the car wash would be across the street from the entrance to Vulcan. I think that alone is inappropriate. But our neighborhood, I've lived there for almost 22 years. It's a neighborhood with strollers, people walking their dogs. It's a true neighborhood. It has been a joy to live there. I love Birmingham. I appreciate all of you trying to make Birmingham better. But I don't think an automated car wash in the midst of a neighborhood with high traffic, with Richard Arrington Boulevard on one side and what is known as Diaper Row or 21st Avenue on the other side, with walking paths planned for that area, I don't see how an automatic car wash factors into that. There are cars racing around our neighborhood to cut through and avoid the traffic light by Vulcan already. I can't see adding this to it. It's already, I mean, there's trash in my yard. It's talking about picking up trash because overnight, people think it's a great idea to throw bottles and cans and we pick it up. I mean, that's what we do. We try to make our neighborhood a true neighborhood and make it the best they can be. And I do think having an automated car wash would really degrade the area and our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. I'm Paul Godby at 821 23rd Street South. I'm president of the Southside Neighborhood Association. I was contacted as president by a car wash company that wanted to build a new car wash on University Boulevard between 23rd Street and 24th Street. And I thought that was real odd, considering that I'd been to the North Side, South Side framework plans. I had noticed a lot of car wrecks there on 23rd Street and 24th Street, and I knew about the vehicular traffic coming off of Red Mountain and the high speeds done there. And so I viewed the car wash as being very detrimental by adding additional crisscross patterns on entrance and exit. I brought this up with Mr. Fowler at one time, so he's aware of it. And since that time, I found some information on the internet about people making negative comments about the car washes out at Eastwood Mall. And there was a car wash on, I think that's 4th Avenue South Business Incubator at that location. So I'd have to say that I'm not in favor of the car wash, at least at this location. And so I would suggest continuing with the moratorium. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, all. I am Trish Portrees. I live at 1923 20th Avenue South. I am the third house from the prospective car wash that is expected to be around the Vulcan Park area. So I agree with Director Fowler that car washes are a good thing, only in specific places and not residential. So if we looked at the plan that they've got, the entrance and exit to that particular car wash will be coming out on my street. I am the third house from that entrance and exit. I can assure you I will be negatively impacted by not only the car traffic, but also the noise that comes from the dryers. I think that car washes are great, just not in specific residential areas. I think we just need to make sure that they are appropriately placed with, with your guidance and your policies and procedures. I wore this shirt for a specific reason. Because you know why? It's right by Vulcan Park. And Vulcan Park to Birmingham is iconic. It is Magic City. It is what we are. So again, I still say, please be careful where you put these things. Kind of put those policies and procedures. We had to fall to have the storage unit put up there. It's an atrocity every time I drive from my house over to when coming to this meeting, I saw that building and said, that's, just not something I want to see on a daily basis. I also think that, since I do use car washes in more commercial areas, I do frequent them. I also see bad actors doing bad things. There's drug deals going on. So how do we manage that? So how do they prevent it? How do they manage it when it does happen? I've seen it. You see people coming in, doing a little handoff, and then, leaving shortly after. So again, we have bad actors coming into good neighborhoods. And again, we're looking for your help to stop that activity before it actually starts. So those are the types of things we want to help manage. And the owners will not manage that. They have workers out there that will just stand there and do their job, but not manage the bad activity because it's not in their job description. So again, just looking for your help to keep us safe, do the right thing, make money. I get it. Just, again, I'm going with Director Fowler's advice and what he has to say. So thank you all. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm Kathy Adams. I live at 2431 Aberdeen Road. I've been the vice president of the Redmont neighborhood for 25 years. I don't know what they were talking about that we had objected to other apartments or offices. We haven't had anything come before us but this. And the neighborhood is overwhelmingly against the car wash. I think mainly because of its proximity to homes, single-family homes. And it's just going to destroy property values on that street. And that seems unfair. And I had hoped what the moratorium would do would allow the city time to talk to other cities, see what problems they've had, what solutions they've had. Just a little time. They tried to ram this through. And they may just have to wait a little bit. That might be the appropriate thing for us to see what Nashville's done or St. Louis has done or New Orleans has done that has worked or not worked. So I would ask you to please keep the moratorium. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm Julie Wright. I live at 2045 20th Avenue South, and I'm the Director of Programs and Activities at Brookdale Senior Living. I took the day off to be with y'all, so there's some mad senior adults because they didn't get bingo today. I'm going to speak in generalities and specifics. I would hate to see Birmingham make a hasty move, and I'm for the moratorium to provide more study on car washes in general. You've heard it before. I feel like we're beating a dead horse. There are appropriate places to put car washes. There are inappropriate places to put car washes. I don't, specifically our neighborhood, I live on the dead end side of 20th Avenue South. If you've ever ridden down that street, it's a game of chicken because of the cars parked on the road. We've had instances where emergency vehicles have not been able to get in. With additional traffic, I'm very concerned that if there were an emergency down on the dead end side of my street, that we couldn't be reached. But again, in specifics, I support the moratorium, and I would beg the council to give some more thought to car washes in general. Thank you. And I'm going back to play bingo.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, I am Elizabeth Reed. I live at 1915 20th Avenue South, so I live directly next door to where the car wash will be. I have 2 young children. They have gone through the gunshots on the 4th of July. When we first moved in, this was our fault. Our dog got out. He was hit on 21st. He was hit so hard and with such force It didn't leave an external injury. Honestly, he had no idea that there was ever an issue. We took him to the vet. He died, ultimately. Adding more cars to the street is one thing, but I want to make this very clear. The owners of this property, the men that are building this car wash, the way they spoke to people in the neighborhood meeting says enough to me. The way they spoke to anybody, they pointed their finger and they said, if you don't agree with our variances, we're going to proceed anyway. I think as a city, we need to look at what they're doing, look at the individuals that are involved, and see how they speak to neighbors, and ask ourselves, is this the type of business that we want in our neighborhood, that do not speak to neighbors with any kind of regard? We can go back forward, but if they are the owners or the property management, they have failed miserably. And I don't want to see anybody's children, dogs, or anybody else injured on this street because of tidal waves or Mr. Drummond or Mr. Scott. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. So just to expand a little bit on some of the comments, and something that hasn't been mentioned before, Richard Arrington Jr. Drive, or Boulevard, and also 21st Avenue South are being targeted for, there's projects in the works to improve pedestrian and bicyclist access on both of those routes. As Councilor Abbott will tell you, those are projects that have been a long time coming. There's been lots of community engagement and investment of time and resources in moving those projects forward. So just to give additional context to what Director Fowler talked about in terms of public safety with respect to public transportation use, pedestrians and bicyclists, those are all very relevant considerations because of the projects that are being proposed. Specifically, there's a multi-use path that is going to be connecting up over the mountain into Homewood, and on 21st Avenue South, there's also pedestrian and bicyclist improvements. There, it's an extremely wide street as it stands currently, probably on the order of 80 feet or something, in that vicinity. And it does connect to Vulcan Park. There's also the Red Mountain Mineral Trail, for which there are plans to open that back up and actually make it a pedestrian bicyclist connectivity from 21st Avenue South over into 5 Points South. So I mention all of those things just to bring additional context because there's significant public improvements with respect to pedestrian bicyclist use that increasing vehicular demand in that area could create conflicts, and whenever there's areas of conflict, there's also just inherent injury to the accidents, crashes, and related things. So additionally, these automated car washes are unique in that they use a lot of forced air in terms of blowers and vacuums, and so their impact is not limited to their property boundaries. They have significant impact on the adjacent property owners, and especially when those adjacent property owners are residential, and the folks are trying to enjoy their home. So that's those are all things that were in consideration when the moratorium was initially proposed and remain relevant. Any other councilors have comments? Councilor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. We heard from the, several members of the public today, and I just want to, clarify that this body is looking at this from a holistic, level. We're not looking at one specific location. I know that, I think I heard two, maybe three locations that were specified, but, we collectively, the nine of us, are considering this from a holistic approach, and we're not, and it's not singular to one location, because obviously each location would have its nuances. We are hopeful that, that we can find an appropriate zoning for car washes, and whatever regulations, that would be appropriate for them, so that there can be a good balance between, having these businesses in our city and protect, property owners, that are adjacent or in those neighborhoods. And I think that with the, that this is very timely with the amount of money that we're spending on the public improvements that you mentioned, Mr. President, that it would be in our best interest, to, pass item number 59.
So, Attorney King, with respect to the item that's on the agenda, it mentions specifically amending or repealing the previous ordinance. So, are there recommendations from the Office of the City Attorney as to which course of action to take in that regard?
I have Attorney Bernard come forward to provide clarification, but there is a recommendation to include zoning.
Good morning again, counselors. Again, the council, has the opportunity to recommend, amendments or whatever. One thing that we've looked at, as far as the moratorium, talks about building permits and a lot of things. It also mentions zoning applications. And in the case of a zoning application, that's going to come before this body. If somebody has to rezone a property, it's going to come before this body. And so there's, opportunity for, full notice and full hearing on specific projects for that reason. So that is one recommendation, is that we'd recommend taking zoning and zoning-related actions out of the moratorium at this time, because that would be something that would come before you anyway.
Okay, so just to repeat it back to you, so the recommendation is to remove the language concerning zoning applications from the current moratorium. So in order to accomplish that, can we simply amend the ordinance to reflect that change?
Yes, we can, and we can bring a draft back for the body, and if there's any other recommendations.
Okay.
That is, the council, and it, just generally from hearing individuals, I'm assuming the council's wanting to continue the moratorium. So if we're going to continue it, that would be one suggestion, to amend it, unless you've heard something else.
Okay. So we don't have draft language for an amendment currently in front of us at this time. So is it the advice of the Office of the City Attorney to delay action today, or do we need to set an additional public hearing?
We can bring the draft back with that information next week, if that's what the desire is.
Okay. Councilor Abbott.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we delay this for a week for the appropriate language changes. But before we do that, I wanted to just comment that, you know, we have heard from a lot of people who are immediately affected by a car wash. But Parkway East, there was a huge fight out in Parkway East due to the fact that a car wash wanted to locate across the street from people's homes, and they didn't want it. And that one, the residents and the property owner actually came together and worked it out. And they didn't end up with a car wash. So, you know, we have a comprehensive plan in Birmingham, and because I've been here so long, I was involved in that process. And I think we passed it in 2014, maybe 2013, 14. And we're still working on it. The framework plans are underway, and they're not even all finished. We still have a lot of work to do. And I think that the moratorium is very appropriate because people's lives are changing the way, you know, some people don't have cars anymore, which I cannot wrap my head around personally, but I know that there are people who cycle and walk everywhere they go. Or they might get an Uber every once in a while. But in this case, I just think that it's imperative that the city step back and take a look at the big picture and try to determine how we want our city to develop and how we want to protect our residents. The residents, to me, are the only people that really count, because those are people who have chosen to stay in Birmingham. They don't live in the suburbs and just commute in and drop their trash off on the roadside as they drive through. You know, the people here are ones who have chosen to live in Birmingham, make it their home, and they want it to be a decent place to live and be safe. So I just think that with the projects we've got, certainly with the situation on Richard Arrington, we are spending millions and millions of dollars on these projects, and we really have to make sure that we are not wasting people's money by allowing things to come in that are inappropriate. If you're trying to increase pedestrian and bicycle and scooters and all those other things for people to use for transportation, there needs to be somewhere to go. And I haven't ever seen a pedestrian go through a car wash. I'm sure it would be quite painful. But we just have to step back and take a look. We have a lot of changes going on even as we speak, and I believe the moratorium is the right thing to do. And I think that, you know, for future issues, other things are going to come up that are going to be the idea du jour for developers, and we need to use our ability to have moratoriums to step back and take a look at a lot of things before they become a problem, before they become an issue for our residents and people who have to deal with the city. So I move for a 1-week delay to get the appropriate language changes done.
Second that. Any additional discussion? Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is point of information. I wanted to ask if it would be more appropriate to continue it versus delay it, or does that not matter?
The moratorium is still currently in effect. It was for 180 days, beginning in March. So it's, it's in effect unless the council chooses to change that. And that was, again, in part was to, hear some more about the moratorium, the purposes of it, and let the council make those decisions. So.
Okay. Yeah, just for a little historical context too, I mean, this is definitely not by any means the first moratorium of this type that we have enacted. Most recently, there was a moratorium on self-storage facilities until we could figure out where, they were more appropriately located because of the same type situation. There was folks who were out there in the business of making money who saw that this business model was highly profitable, and there was a forthcoming, surge in, we foresaw a forthcoming surge in the number of those types of facilities, including in very significant portions of our city. Prior to that, there's pretty well-known moratorium that the council enacted on payday loan businesses, which, have had serious impact on the residents of the city of Birmingham. And, that was also impactful and a reason for concern. So it's, not without precedent that we've done this. But without additional comments, I think we're ready for the vote on this item.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item is approved. All right, we would like to restart with the agenda at item number 1, please.
Okay, item number 1 on page 2. A resolution relative to the application of Sam's Car Wash, Tobacco and Liquor Outlet LLC for an off-premise beer and wine license to be used at Sam's Car Wash, Tobacco and Liquor Outlet, 1729 Jefferson Avenue Southwest, Suite B, Birmingham 35211, and this is the hearing of all interested parties.
All right, move the item.
Second.
All right, Councilor Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, before we start, I want to refer to Attorney King to state the law that considers a granting any liquor application, license for an application.
Thank you, Councilor Tate. So in consideration of the granting or denial of a liquor license application, the council should consider under Alabama State Code 2816. There are 7 provisions for consideration. The first is the creation of a nuisance. The second are any circumstances that are clearly detrimental or which would adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare of adjacent residential neighborhoods. Third, a violation of applicable zoning restrictions or regulations. Fourth, an individual applying for the license has a prior conviction involving the use of alcohol or a controlled substance. 5 is the proximity of the business to a school or child care facility, and those hours of operation would create a harmful environment for the children. The 6th provision is traffic congestion that would create at the location an endangerment to others. And lastly, any other reason that poses a risk.
Thank you, Attorney King. Our councils, I have before me an application for Sam's Car Wash, Tobacco and Liquor Outlet applying for a beer and wine license off premises. The applicant met with the West End Manor on 2/12/24, 35 were in attendance, 17 opposed, 2 supported. And the reasons for the opposition, the neighborhood says that there are several beer and wine stores in the area, several liquor and package stores in the area, no commercial interest, behavior of patrons at the January meeting, and we have the applicant before us. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good morning, everybody. To the Honorable Mayor, President, members of the City Council, I want to thank you for listening to us. I'm Mrs. Nilofer Salim, representing Sam's Tobacco Outlet at 1729 Jefferson Avenue Southwest. We have applied for the license 6 months back, and we would like to request you to grant us permission for the convenience store approval. We already have a Birmingham, Alabama business license for filling station, repair shop, retail, wholesale, or otherwise general retail food store. We would be glad if we get convenience store license so we can have a one-stop shop and serve the seniors as well.
Okay. Okay, so can you go into detail with this counselor, the body, why we should, grant you a liquor license? What is your reasons for wanting the liquor license?
Ma'am, we would like to have a one-stop shop, and this is not the right time for liquor, so we will postpone the liquor at this minute and just get the beer and wine license, so when people come at the gas station, they can have what they really need, so they don't have to shop everywhere around. And since we have a fire station next to us, we are on the safest side, so we don't think we'll be going out of the way and doing something which is not right.
Okay. Does any members of the council have questions for the applicant?
Yes, Counselor Tate, so you stated that the neighborhood association made the recommendation not to approve the off-premise beer and wine license?
Correct.
Okay, and that vote, can you remind me what the vote was?
They went to the West End Manor neighborhood on 2/12/24. 35 were in attendance, 17 opposed with only 2 supporting. And so the reason being, they said they have several beer and wine. They have several stores in the area that sell beer and wine, several liquor package stores in the area, and no commercial interest in the behavior of the patrons at the January meeting. So they withdrew the application for the liquor, and they're only asking for a beer and wine off-premises license.
Okay.
So we only have like one application before us, and they withdrew item number 2.
Okay. Curious, there's a service station or a gas station immediately adjacent to this location. I believe it's Jefferson Sitco.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they have a off-premise beer and wine license at that location?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Can't speak to that, but I also have, you guys have photos before you. I was not in the public safety meeting, but I did have an opportunity to tune in, and I know that they were questioned about a lot of the abandoned cars that are still on the premises, and to date, they have not been removed. So I have a lot of cars that, if you look at the pictures that were provided to you, they have not been moved from the location.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I know that, the Public Safety Committee actually gave a no recommendation for this item. It was for several reasons. One of which, we took the neighborhood's suggestion into high regard and consideration. The fact that we had so many oppositions in the neighborhood. But then, one of the biggest issues was when the presentation was first brought to us, the reasoning behind wanting to do this was because they wanted to be more involved in the community and help with youth. We couldn't understand how receiving a beer and wine license would help you to engage young people in the community and be able to, be an asset to the community in that way. And so the reasoning just did not make sense. And it was honestly kind of confusing that somebody would even present that as a reason why they needed a beer and wine license. I know that today things are much different, but we just felt like this would not be something that we would need to move forward with.
Thank you. And Mr. President, I did get some information on the adjacent business that you were speaking of. They do have a beer and wine license for our premises.
Pro Tem Alexander has.
Yes, ma'am, Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilor Moore. That was going to be one of my questions. I did note that the committee had voted no recommendation, and so thanks for providing that information. I am familiar with this area because it's right outside of District 7. Prior to redistricting, this neighborhood was a part of D7 as well. So I am equally is curious, you've got Arrington Middle School, which is right down the street from there. And so and I'm looking at what I consider to be blight with the number of cars and everything. So when we talk about helping the community, one of the things that we're very concerned with in District 7 and throughout the areas in Birmingham is being sure that you're good stewards of our neighborhoods, that you help to keep our neighborhoods safe.
Yes, ma'am.
And that again, you're going to be a citizen of that neighborhood, okay? So I guess my question is, how old are these pictures as far as the number of cars that are left there?
Ma'am, they're pretty old, and some of the cars are still for repair. They don't have the money, so we cannot just tell them, you just take your car since you don't have the money. When they have the money, they will come back and they'll pay us, and we can give the keys. If we give the keys and not get the money back, we can't argue with somebody for that for no reason, right?
Okay, but this is you're going to own this property,
Yes,
or you're going
ma'am.
to? Okay. Second thing.
And one
Go
more
ahead.
thing, I'm
Yes.
sorry I interrupted
Go
you.
ahead.
We have 40 years old people working in that station. We don't want to get them unemployed. We want to keep a separate bay for them and make the rest to a convenience store so we can pull up more revenue to the city and get more people employed in that place. We don't want to remove the older guys who've been there for 40, 45 years and it's their time for retirement and take them out from the store. Because since we've got the property new, we don't want to let the older people go. We still want to keep them because it's the asset to the store.
Well, I think we're in agreement. I'm all for workforce development. I would I would love to see when a new owner comes in that they preserve the staff that have been there. And of course, we wouldn't want to turn anyone away who's near retirement. So we agree in that. I guess my other question, I did just want you to expound a little bit on what, by having this particular license, or what are your plans to help the youth in that area?
Ma'am, we don't want to encourage the youth for beer and wine, but we would serve the senior citizens who come because it is a full service station where we go ahead, fill gas for them, bring sodas and whatever they want outside, they give the money and we go and service them. So if we have beer and wine at the location, they don't need to go to another place.
Okay.
They can buy stuff in the same store and they can get their car serviced as well because we do oil changes, brakes, whatever they need. Because if they are at the same place, they don't need to go to 10 places around and have a competitive price so that way they don't have to.
Okay. And one last question. I just want to go back for the 7 items that we consider when bringing about this type of license. Has this changed because of the type license that they're looking for, beer and wine versus liquor? Is there any effect on that consideration?
Attorney King.
Attorney King? Yes, when we're considering this type of license or this application. Yes, but you also have to consider what the applicant is saying about the specificity. Thank you. You also have to consider what the applicant is saying about the property and the upkeep of the property as well. Okay, because the other thing, I know one of those considerations was the proximity to a school or child care. And if I am correct, Greater Shiloh does have a child care agency within their property, which is at 2135 Jefferson Avenue. And what this is going to be at 1729, correct?
And you guys have workforce development there.
Okay,
at the
and we
church.
do have different programs there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Council
ma'am.
Smith.
Madam
Council
Chair,
Smith.
also, Madam Pro Tem, don't forget New Hope also has a daycare as well. So we're talking about 2 daycares, a school. We have the Safe Haven program at the Harrison Park Rec Center. I mean, we have a lot of, we're trying to keep down crime in West End. And having another store with a wine and liquor, wine and beer isn't really going to help. And we already have several in the neighborhood. We don't need it. We don't need the type of crowd that it can bring. And honestly, there are plenty of gas stations without wine and beer that you can, that will sustain it as well. Because it is a nice gas station. I've been by quite a few times growing up. So I just don't think that's needed for this area. Also, you really do need to move the cars, honestly. I get people not coming back, but it's blocking the entrance for both ways. Like, there's a different way you can ask them to set this up properly, because it almost looks like you're blocking people from even getting gas doing this. So, my vote is definitely no. And in addition to that, I've gotten like emails and calls as well, so I have to go with my residents. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you,
Chair.
Councilor Smithman. This is a public hearing, so if anybody is here to speak or for the item, you may come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Haywood Murray. I stay at 1750 Street at Alpha Avenue Southwest. I think what they're doing is a good thing. And they want to know what it brings for the kids. I taught my son mechanic work. They can teach the same thing there. It's a full gas station where you can come there. You don't have to get out your car. None of you. You pull up, they pump the gas, they do it all. You don't see that here now. I think it's a good thing. Kids can come there, they can learn something from that. It teaches them to be polite. See what I'm saying? If you pull up there, some kid can just at least put gas in your car. But they teaching them all the same thing. But it's a gas station that can work for the whole community. Your car is down, they fixing cars there. You need to get to work in the morning, your hose broke or your belt breaks, they can fix it there. And they stay open late enough to do that. You don't have a gas station now where that does, all the gas station does now is just sell gas and beer. They serve gas, mechanic work, and they fixes your car there. They do it all right there with no problem. I think it's a good thing for the community because you don't have that now. You don't have a full gas station anymore. So I think that that would work for the community. So, and it's just something that's excited me because my grandson, he's little, he loves cars. He don't mind going, he loves to go there and just watch the cars. You know, they trying to get it organized, and I support them. And I stay at 1756 Ethel Avenue Southwest. So I support them.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is about their liquor license, not their business license. Is that correct?
Liquor license,
So
correct.
even if we say no to the liquor license, they're still going to operate as a mechanic and gas station. Is that correct? Okay, I just wanted to clarify. So this is
Can I
about the
say
liquor,
Okay, their liquor, as far as liquor,
beer and wine, sorry.
beer and wine, that daycare is next to the other gas station. They're right there by the fire station. The other station is right there by the daycare. They're not. So I look at it as that this gas station has liquor license and stuff, and this daycare is here, but they're down from it, not near as close as that daycare.
The daycare isn't near the fire station, it's the other way.
The daycare, yeah, but the daycare is on the other end. He's sitting right between that fire station.
It's next to Aaron's Middle School, okay. But we were just clarifying that this is for the beer and wine, not their operation, so they can still operate.
They can still operate, well, for their liquor license, that's what I'm speaking of. Just saying that it's close by the daycare. They're nowhere there. I don't see why they can't get the liquor license. They should. Everybody else has it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak for or against the item?
Hello, I'm Carmen Mays. I reside at 1216 19th Street Southwest, Birmingham, Alabama. I have been there all of my life. That's where I came home from the hospital. And I will soon be moving down the street whenever they get finished renovating the house that I bought. I have done what was asked of me. I went to college, and I came home. and I got a house in my neighborhood, and I'm putting tens of thousands of dollars into that house. And I don't want my investment to be in vain because people who do not live in my neighborhood, who do not grow up there, who do not love it the way that I do, feel the need to change something and make it worse by bringing more alcohol into our neighborhood. The owner and their associates are not regular attendees of our neighborhood meetings nor any of our activities. And I should know, I've been going to neighborhood meetings since they used to be at Arrington Middle School, before they put the windows in, back before Pat Alexander became a city councilwoman and she was our neighborhood president. The one occasion that they did come to our neighborhood meeting, they caused such a commotion that it almost led to a physical fight at New Hope Baptist Church that was witnessed by a few of the city employees. It is already alleged that they are selling cans of soda out of a cooler at the business. It has been a full-service gas station. I don't know what kind of gas they sell now because it is not branded. So the service station across Elm Street is a Citgo. The one further down, Jefferson Avenue, is a Marathon. This one has no name. It is not associated with any actual gas company. So I don't know where the gas come from. They have 3 bays and an office. It's the old school service station like the one Gomer Pyle worked at on Andy Griffith. It is a full service station. It is designed to be a quick tire and lube, full service gas station. There's an office and 3 bays. To take one of those bays away and turn it into some kind of walled off area to function as a convenience store would greatly hinder any type of adaptive reuse or redevelopment in that space because it is already designed to be something, and we know that service stations are very hard to redevelop anyway because of the environmental factors. This is not finding a need and filling it, as the revered A.G. Gaston has said. This business, like we said, is right directly across Elm Street from a service station that has beer and wine. The Marathon down the street has beer and wine. There are 2 package stores at the edge of each part of the neighborhood, M&N at South Park Road and Pearson Avenue. And I think it's called Total Spirits, but it's on the other end of Pearson Avenue, right around the bend from Blessed Sacrament. So we are well serviced as an area as it relates to beer, wine, as well as hard alcohol. This is not a third space. This business does not promote social cohesion. It does not get us toward the vision of our neighborhoods that we were talking about. I agree with my neighbors from Redmont that we need to be making sure that we're designing our neighborhoods to be more cohesive so we can have more interaction with the students, with the elders in our community, and young people like myself who are answering the call to come home. And we should also be thinking of how do we support and reward the families who could have moved to Shelby County, but made a decision to stay in West End and keep their homes up and create generational wealth for their families, which that I am a recipient of, which is how I got my house on 19th Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Ms. Mays. So, I'm not familiar with this service station. So you're telling me that as it's functioning presently, there's no sort of conventional retail convenience store type of environment or facility at this location? So they're not, they don't have a cooler, at the back of a public space that people can walk into and make selections from, items that are on the shelf.
No, not that I've seen. It is not designed that way. The only other entrance into the building, aside from the 3 bays where they do mechanical work and they have the lifts for the cars, is fashioned as an office where you would go in and pay for your repairs or have your discussions and things like that. But it is not designed or laid out to be a convenience store. They would have to actually do that.
Right.
I believe the application states that the address is Suite A or B. If you look at the photographs where they have the A and the B and the C are over the bays where they are currently doing repairs.
Okay. I think that's significant because it really differentiates them from the surrounding the gas stations on the same corridor. And the applicant hasn't presented plans as to how they would get a building permit and renovate the space, because I don't think it would be appropriate for them to be selling beer and wine out of a service bay.
Correct.
So, okay. Thank you for that information,
you.
very helpful.
Thank you, Ms. Mays. Is anyone else here to speak for or against the item? State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, guys. My name is Tiffany Sellers. I live at 2325 Steiner Avenue. I am in District 7, but like you said, District 7 was also at one point included in this area. My concern is what Councilman Smitherman initiated, and that is the safety issue. The neighborhood that this liquor store wants to be they want their liquor license in, there's enough liquor stores. There's enough violence. There's enough things going on. And I wish there were more of us here who live in this area who were here to voice up for the not wanting this, as there were for people in Redmond who don't want a car wash. We don't show up and we don't do what we need to do for our people, and that's why things like this are always so easy to come into our communities. But what we don't want to acknowledge is how these things are destroying our communities. We don't need more liquor stores. We don't need more car washes. We don't need any of that. What we need is people who are responsible and who are not afraid to take accountability to stand up for what is right in our community. Bringing more liquor stores, bringing more anything that does not benefit our children in the situations that we are in, is not going to benefit any of us in any district. We don't need any more liquor stores. We don't need any more beer, wine licenses, any of that. What we need are people who are going to stand up and bring great things, prosperous life into our communities, not alcohol licenses. So that is my stance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counselors have any more comments? Okay, one more. Okay. State your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I live at 1437 18th Place Southwest. I stay with my mom. I take care of her. She's 91. I agree with everything he just said. I agree with it completely. But I don't see no harm in him having his beer and wine license, even though it's one across the street, one down the street. It's all over West End. But what we really should be concerned about, the things that are going on in West End besides a liquor store or whatever he want to do, you know. And I don't see nobody breaking their neck to get up in and talk about that. But we'll say that for another day. Also, I got something for my mom's. My mother been trying to get her alley clean for 3 years. Every time she call up here, don't nobody come out there and do nothing about it. Those are the things we need to be concerned about more than a liquor store. But, get back to that, I see nothing wrong with Mr. Sam having his liquor store, his wine store, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a drinker. I have nothing against it. But, you know, the station is in a safe place, as far as I can see. It's easy to get in. It's easy to get out. You got the fire station right next to it. You got another gas station across the street that sell wine and beer and all the other.
Do the children walk to school this way, or is this a busy street that nobody walks on? Does anybody know?
Can you speak to that, President Pro Tem or Council?
Yes, you're very correct. There are residences that are near this, right across the street, right in the vicinity. Those children are not bused. Some of them are, but the majority do have to walk to school. So they will be walking through this area. We know how we are sort of sidewalk deficient in our neighborhoods, and so I would just be concerned as well about their safety walking to and from. Councilor Smitherman?
Yes, I definitely agree with you. And people do walk. And to the former resident, I totally agree with you. I just told my chief of staff to go with you about the alley to see what's going on. And there are things we need to work on in West End. We talked about it at the town hall a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, I just still don't agree with it. There are residents behind this gas station, Councilor Abbott across the street. If there's already 5 in the area, why do we need one more?
It's true.
So,
And I did want to ask also the hours of operation that are being proposed.
We'll have the store open from 6:30 to 10 in the night, and we'll not serve beer and wine on Sundays to keep the churches and the daycares around. We'll not serve the timings which will affect the people around. And we've still not remodeled the store because we were waiting on the convenience store approval license, because we don't want to just go ahead and do without the city approving us and be into trouble. We've never had trouble in so many years being in Birmingham. We don't want to break no laws. That's the reason we've already put stickers on the bays outside the store, so that way when we remodel the store, we'll model it in such a way that we don't cause no harm to what we are already existing with the mechanical store. We'll just expand it and we'll rebuild what we need to. So that way we can have walk-in coolers on one side, and this side, people cannot get to that side, where we can just have beer and wine on one side and the mechanical on the other.
Okay, and this is intended to be a full convenience store with all of the junk food that we sell to go along with our
No,
beer
ma'am,
and wine?
we want to try to keep vegetables, fruit products, all frozen stuff. Now we don't have all that stuff, which people can have fresh fruits, because we have senior citizens comes, so we can produce stuff in smaller quantities where they can buy fresh whenever they want to eat. Because we don't want to keep junk foods and make it a junk store.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. But you said 6:30 a.m. till 10 at night?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councilor Abbott. Any more questions? Mr. President, you got questions? You got any more questions? Okay, Mr. Moore, Councilor Moore? You good? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any else, any other person here to speak for or against the item?
Madam Chair, I call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Okay.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? The motion is to approve, so all in favor of approving the liquor license, say aye. All opposed to the liquor license, say nay.
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 That item is not approved. Next item, please.
Next item is item number 3, which is
Excuse me, first, we're just going to remind everybody that item number 2 was withdrawn.
Yes.
by the applicant.
Okay,
So,
now,
let Madam Clerk read the item. So,
item number 3, also on page 2, a resolution relative to the application of the Green Bean LLC for a special retail liquor license 160 to be used at the Green Bean, 3108 Park Avenue Southwest, Birmingham 35221, and this is a hearing of all interested parties.
Move the item.
Second.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning. How y'all doing today? To the councilman, the mayor. How y'all doing?
Hang on a second. So, Councilor Tate, this is a public hearing item.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, this is an application for the Green Bean LLC located at 3108 Park Avenue. They are applying for a special retail license over 30 days. They presented to the Jones Valley Neighborhood Association on 2/2/24. 6 opposed, 8 supported. I was not here, and I'm going to turn this over to Councilor Williams, who conducted, and want to thank him and Councilor Moore for carrying the meeting in my absence, to speak about their recommendation doing public safety.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. At this previous public safety meeting, we heard from the applicants for the Green Bean, and during that time, the reason that we have made a recommendation of no to this body is for several reasons throughout it was a very lengthy meeting, but in essence, there was a real concern over the transparency of what was actually going on at this location, what the actual hours of operation would be doing, and then some testimony from the applicants, which actually they indicated that they were seeking a license of, in which it was inappropriate because they were hosting their own parties at this location. So I think for purposes of the public hearing, we will hear from the applicants today. If y'all will state your name and address and what you guys are trying to accomplish at this location. And then we'll probably after that hear from Birmingham Police Department's detectives as well. So you guys go ahead and state your names and address and what you'd like to share with this body.
My name is Raymond Miller, and I'm representing the Green Bean at 3108 Park Avenue Southwest. And I would start my meeting by saying that my grandmother was the owner of this building before me. So the same building I have, I've been cleaning it since I was young, and she gave it to me. So the Red Wolf Lounge, if y'all ever heard of the Red Wolf Lounge. So as I got into it, I didn't know all the rules and regulations, but now as I'm going through it, I'm learning everything I need to know, and I'm getting the basics. So in other words, we really made all the changes we really need to make so we can have our event center, and I was real uneducated on how to say what I was doing and how I was doing it, and that's where the problem came in at. And that's basically what I got to say to get feedback from you guys.
Okay, we're not going, that's not how this works. We don't give feedback.
Okay,
This isn't
understand,
This isn't
understood.
a opportunity for like a conversation
Okay.
or a give and take or anything like that.
Well, yeah,
But-
and
but-
then also for the community, like AG Gas, the Boys and Girls Club, they have came and watched films at our club. And for future stuff, they have also did fundraisers at our club. We have people have repasses at our club that did last longer than than daytime hours. But that's just what it was. And it's plenty of stuff we did. My brother knows a lot more.
How y'all doing? Good afternoon or morning. I'm not sure. Good morning. But I just wanted to let y'all know what the Green Bean really is. It's family orientated, first of all, and we are big on safety. We've had this event center from when my grandma passed it down to us when she just got tired of doing it. We put our own name on it. And safety's always been first when it came to the Green Bean. Safety was always our top priority. That's why it's never been a phone call or never been a police call about any event that we had at our club. We also do a lot of things for the community in District 7. We feed every Thanksgiving and Christmas, we give away free food to the whole community. Not just that, we do that every year. If you can go back and look and do your research, you'll see that's something we do every year for our community. We also, it's the grass. We cut the grass ourselves. I think the city's supposed to do it, but we do that ourselves. We cut the grass in front of our building, on the side of it. It's an abandoned building on the side of that. We keep that clean. Also, we last year, Gas Boys and Girls Club, they was short on money for their uniforms. I know because I was a coach. They were short on money for their uniforms. We let them throw a free. We didn't charge them anything to throw this event to raise money to help them get uniforms. We do a lot of stuff for our community, and we got the full support of our neighborhood meeting. Everybody in the room voted for us to get these licenses because they know what we do and what we mean to the community. Like we clean up in front of our building and surrounding it. We clean it. We make sure it's clean. And I'm gonna say again, we've been running this event center, and it haven't been one phone call to the Birmingham Police Department about nothing.
Okay, sir, will you clarify that last sentence for me? When you say you've been running this event center, since what date?
Since my grandmother had it. My grandmother had it since
Just about month, year?
Grandma Rita had it since, how long she had it?
Grandma really had shut the club down and like during the pandemic. She shut it down during the pandemic and we picked it up shortly after.
Shortly after the pandemic. So I think it's important to note that you guys have not been operating with a business license or liquor license since the pandemic.
We was like we were coming behind our grandmother and like I said earlier,
It's
we
a-
didn't
it's a
we didn't
statement.
know.
It's not a conversation piece. Sir, on my left, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes, sir. Thank
If you'll give your name and address.
Thank you. My name is William Baylor. I am a resident of 1708 Steiner Avenue in West End, and very supportive of these young two gents. When you start a business, there's a lot of things that you don't know, especially trying to have it passed down and build generational wealth for your family. That business has been a long-term business in the community who has had great memories there. The team that just was awarded today, they watch film every Friday inside of the Green Bean. Also, we understand how important security is. So if you look at the security plan, it has been updated correctly to align with the city of Birmingham's specifications. And on top of that, we've gone the extra mile by making sure not only is there security, but also Birmingham Police that's going to be there also to help secure the building as well. And again, they had a long-term standing of no violent activity there at the event center. So we're hoping that the council will allow these young brothers to have the opportunity to fulfill their family's legacy and destiny and continue to move forward with such a great event center as what they have. There was a lot of learning, things they had to do, some growing pains of sorts, but now they've learned the processes with you all's help, and they're welcome to continue to be a help to the great District 7.
All right, thank you, sir. Yes.
I'm hearing, everything you guys are saying, legacy, generational, all the above, hearing from, what's your name? What's your name again?
William Baylor.
Mr. Baylor, and you saying, generational, passing it down. But here's what disturbs me with people who continue to operate establishments illegally in the city of Birmingham. On July the 13th in North Birmingham was a mass shooting at an event center. Having to wake up and see that on the news by someone who came in here and saying the same language that I'm hearing. We was just, we didn't know, and we was just oblivious to how business goes. Anybody who opened up a business, it's 9 of us up here. If we decide to open up a business, we're gonna find out the proper criteria it takes to do that, right? And I'm hearing people saying, oh, we want a liquor store or a gas station to sell beer. And my colleagues, in my absence, and I thank them very kindly, had a listening ear to hear people come into City Hall and say, oh, it's not going to affect the community. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I beg the difference. At some point, when are we going to do what is right in this city to help people? Now, as the brother said, do the research. I did the research on the Green Bean and saw your social media page. Parties, stripper pole, all the above. How do you come in here and face 9 people and say you didn't know? So, I'm over people coming into City Hall using these excuses about bad business behavior. 14 people were shot as a result, 4 are deceased. And all people can continue to come in here and say, oh, we didn't mean it. We just didn't know. So if people that are coming into City Hall, standing with people, I'm just going to make some suggestions to those that want to support people. Teach people how to start a business. That's the first thing people need to do. Show them how to start a business. Bob Dickerson, Small Business Association, take them to Bob so he can teach them. And then the first thing y'all run out of City Hall and say, oh, they don't want nobody to start no business. That's not true. Quit saying that. And if you want to start a business, learn how to do it right. You come down here, you get the license, you don't follow no criteria, don't do what's right. So you're going to have people in the neighborhood for foolery. I call it real foolery, foolishness. They're going to ride with foolery. But you got stand-up people like Carmen Mays, who said she came back from college about how people tired of this stuff in their neighborhoods. I know I'm sick of it.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So first thing first, this will probably be the second time that we've had, a situation such as this, where somebody has come before us and told us like, hey, these are some things that I did not know needed to be done, right? And it sounds like, we need to do a better job at, and I'll just say me, because, I won't put that on anybody else. I need to do a better job at sending out information and making sure that people know these different avenues and resources that are available for you to understand how to take the certain steps that you need to get a business done. Because what we have is a lot of people who have a skill, a lot of people who have a talent, a lot of people who have a desire to start a business, but nobody is talking to them about how to prepare, how to get their stuff in order, and how to really make sure that they don't run into issues such as this. I'm pretty sure nobody is talking to you about how to start or how to go before a city council and present, a safety plan, because we saw that was not in order, right? That was one of the reasons why we had to delay everything, to give you an opportunity to rectify that. And so, and I also don't want to, I know that we had, a mass shooting that took place in Birmingham, but that was not you all's fault. You all did not do that. So that does not need to be on you all, because I'm pretty sure y'all don't want that type of stuff to happen in the city of Birmingham as well, correct?
I knew it was myself.
Okay, so again, that's not your fault, and we're not going to put that on you. But we do need for you to make sure that you are, at least, and this is not just for you, this is for anybody who is listening. You need to make sure that you are coming to the city and finding out what it is you need to do before you go out and start a business, right? You need to find out what type of license you need to have, the safety plan that you need to have. You need to learn about the permits and all the other things that you need to have in place. Do not start a business without first seeking guidance on all the things that you need to do. Now, with that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Counselor. At this time, we'd like Birmingham Police Department to come forward, and if y'all will articulate anything you know about this location, please.
Good morning, Council. Good morning. I'm Sergeant Knight, Supervisor of Business Compliance, and we have met with the applicants before, and of course, they came to public safety without a safety plan the first time we met them, and they did bring one back the next time, but it was okay. But prior to that, my officers actually went out, I think back in January of this year, and they were about to have an event, about to have a party. You probably can say a lot of women was there first, so imagine what kind of party that was going to be. So they prevented that and told them they couldn't operate. That's back in January. And got information this past weekend where I saw a party where they had nude women. It was alcohol, parties that, I hate to bring this up, that result in what happened a couple weeks ago. These are kind of wild parties where things get out of control and we have people getting shot and murdered. At these event centers, we say we're doing one thing, but we never follow protocol. We say we're having baby showers, wedding reception, but we're never doing that. Every time we get information, it's about, we see parties that's out of control. nude women, alcohol, I'm sure weapons, so this is the kind of stuff that event centers, we have to control because you say you're doing one thing, but they're never doing what they say, and security is never, it's never there. It's to a minimum. You might have somebody with a T-shirt on with security on it, but that's not good enough, you ask me. But the event centers have to be more transparent, which they're not being right now. And my guys have been out and caught several of them having stuff that they weren't supposed to have. At that time, we didn't cite anyone. We thought they would get it together, but they have been operating since then, having parties and stuff that we hear about stuff because I'm familiar with the area. And I knew at the old place, the Red Wolf, I believe, and there was older people went to that place back then. I knew a couple people went there, but when that grandmother passed, I guess whatever, when she's not passed. Okay, when she left it, gave it to him, you got to understand, that was around the pandemic. Okay, that's been several years. So at some point, you got to come see us and get in order because you can't just pass a business on like that to someone without, you got to know that, ignorance, you got to know that. So I appreciate them what they're trying to do, but you got to come do it right. And so far, it's been operating illegally for the last few years. And I appreciate the stuff they've been doing to the community, but you're still operating a business illegally. That's what we're getting to. We need to know what's going on. You need to have the right license because if not, we're going to have these same occurrences like we did a few weeks ago, and we don't need that. So you guys anything to say? Vic?
What Sergeant Knight was saying, with the incident that happened over in North Birmingham, we also bust that club, that event center. That was our team that done that. And from there, we did it twice. And we brought them before the public safety and they was denied. But these guys, from when we got them back in January, they told us they did not know. And from there, they've been trying to get their stuff together since then. But it's just, as Councilman Tate said, we just operating the business without a business license. We have so much that going on here in Birmingham. So from there, we just need to make sure that we just look at how we're going to tread on situations like that. So that's the only thing we ask.
Thank you, Detective. Appreciate all you guys do. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak for or against? Seeing nobody, councilors.
Yes, Council Williams. Well, Madam Pro Tem. Okay. Thank you very much. To the young men that are standing before us and Mr. Baylor, I really want you to take heed to what we've said today as far as you can't say I didn't know when you're going into a community and you're setting up an establishment such as this. Mm-hmm. You have a responsibility to the community. You have a responsibility to your legacy.
Yeah.
Because when this was operating and it wasn't the green bean, I'm familiar with it before, okay? So you need to maintain that legacy of what has been started there. Mm-hmm. Now, there's been a lot of suggestions on what you can do before you start a business. Mm-hmm. There's something called Network Navigator. This is an organization that helps new entrepreneurs. I want young people, I want young men like you to be highly successful, and I want successful businesses in this D7, within the West Side, throughout the city of Birmingham. But I listened to the last public safety meeting. I believe it was being chaired by Councilor Williams. And when you're asked what type of business or what was going to go on in your club, something stood a red flag to me when you were talking about whether it would be an entertainment, what is an event center, and I heard the word lounge. And that sent a red flag up to me. And when I'm hearing what I've been told today by our police officers and those in charge of maintaining safety, I'm seeing instances of all types of behavior that you wouldn't want any of these children from Boys and Girls Club to be associated with. So again, I appreciate what you're trying to do in the community. If you're working with the Boys and Girls Club, you're offering them opportunity to come into your business, but you've got to maintain the safety and you've got to operate within the rules and the guidelines that we've set. We have these business licenses not just to get revenue for the city, but to ensure you operate to maintain the safety and integrity of the where you're going to be having your business. So I just want you to listen to what we've all been talking to you about today, listen and learn, and then go back and do what you need to do to bring this into accordance and to bring it into the guidelines that we set forth as legislators here to be sure we maintain that safety. I feel like I'm preaching and I'm really not trying. But the two of you are so familiar to me in the community, so I know the work you've done, but you got to get your business together, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Council Williams. I want you guys to remember this, and everybody says, but first, one of the first things you learn in law school is ignorance is not a defense for the law. And that's not just for this. We're talking about criminal, etc. I'm sure y'all know plenty of people like, well, I didn't know I couldn't do. They're still gonna go to jail. But this is a same thing but different situation, right? Just because you didn't know that you weren't supposed to have, that you were supposed to have one, doesn't mean that's okay for you to operate illegally. I think that's the thing about it. And I know y'all probably want to say something, but see, we have to apply the same standard to everybody, right? Because if we give an exception to one person, then everybody's going to think, okay, the council gave this exception, I can do what I want, and there won't be any order and regulation. I thank you for what you do for the community, but, you know, Madam Pro Tem is very correct. Like, we want y'all to stay here, but you have to do it the right way. I really want y'all to understand that. So hopefully you guys do stay and continue to do business in the city of Birmingham, but just remember to make sure you have your P's and Q's in order when it comes to business.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'm just curious, and this probably is a question for Chaz or Chief Sparks. How often do we advertise, I guess, you know, any business prep or business help? Like, is that something that, you know, folks can find on the news or, you know, anything like that y'all know of? Or is that something that, you know, IEO does on a regular basis?
Because if they, okay.
Hold on.
Mr. President. So we typically advertise the community-based resources that offer that service, which is Bob Dickerson, organizations like that. So our IEO department does try to ensure that small businesses or those who are interested in starting a business, they're aware of that service. So that's not a service the city provides, but that's a service that we do advocate for those that we partner with. And Bob Dickerson is the main one that we generally will recommend.
Got you. Okay. And I just asked that again because we have so many people that, you know, come before us and are either not prepared or they have different things that are out of order. And it's not that they don't want to. It's just that they haven't been presented with it. And so I think, you know, this council has done a really good job at, you know, creating different handbooks. We've done the Citizens Handbook where, you know, we teach people about neighborhood association. Council Smitherman did a great job on the budget and finance handbook, and it sounds like we even need to have one that focuses on, you know, the business 101 in the city, right? In terms of, you know, the different permits and licenses and, you know, the steps that you need to take to make sure that, you know, you don't find yourself in a position like this, because this is economic development. And, you know, we know that a business license is majority, or business licenses make up majority of our budget. And so it would behoove us to make sure that folks know that they need to have these different things in place. So I don't know. I think that would be, you know, something that would be great for us to, you know, really try to promote, because I don't want to see another young black man or young black men come up before us and be embarrassed. That don't bother me. That don't really bother me. All right. And so I'm apologizing to y'all because I didn't get a chance to do, I should have said this the last time this situation took place. All right. And so I don't want y'all to be embarrassed. And I appreciate the work that y'all do in our community. But like they've said, you got to have your business in order, but you also got to have somebody that gives you game and tell you what you need to do.
And to Council Moore's point, I know earlier this year, and I know Attorney King can attest to this, and Attorney Bernard, that we did send out information for anybody who wanted to learn how to be in compliance with the city of Birmingham. And I think about maybe 15 people showed up, and that's a conversation that I have been having with tax and revenue, and I think we talked about this at the, you know, the last meeting, that we really need to be very intentional on making sure that these people, you know, I'm not saying what my colleague is not saying is true, because it's evidence that this same trip up continues to happen, you know, in the city. And, you know, want people to know that we're not in the business to stop people from starting a business, but make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing correctly. So you won't run into these issues or these problems as a business owner and doing business properly, you know, in the city, where we won't have, you know, mass shootings or people exhibition driving, you know, and shutting down streets, state highways. And so, you know, I'm going to be working very intentionally with tax and license and the compliance team to you know, use every platform we have to say, hey, we having this meeting. Please come and learn how to start a business and what licenses that you need to properly operate in the city of Birmingham. And I'm going to turn this back over to Council Williams, because, again, I was not here. So let me make it real clear to people that I'm not, you know, I'm going to turn this meeting back over to Council Williams, because I wasn't here in my absence, and Council Moore. They were the ones who heard all of, you know, the applicants, and so it would be fair to let my colleague conduct this meeting.
All right, Ms. Abbott, were you raising your hand to speak?
No, I've gotten all my questions answered.
Okay, Councilor Woods. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Yeah, so sort of related to what Councilor Moore was saying. So I know we're in the transition period between having, you know, a previous vendor help us with business licensing, moving to another vendor who's going to do that. The previous vendor, you know, a big portion of their sales pitch to us was, and probably a central component of why they were attractive, was that they were going to help us identify businesses that were operating without the proper permitting and licensing, which, you know, we don't have permitting and licensing just for the sake of having it, just for the sake of generating revenue. The number one responsibility of municipal government is public safety. You know, permitting fees, you know, and sales tax that are collected go back to largely towards providing public safety, you know, for staff that make sure that, you know, the facility is safe to occupy, that there are things like safety plans in order. But anyway, you know, there's definitely a purpose for all of this, but I wanted to I think this issue is bigger than the council, you know, putting together literature to help business owners, you know, which I don't discourage at all. It's bigger than, you know, 3 officers who are going out and doing business compliance. We have thousands of businesses in the city of Birmingham. 3 officers cannot, you know, make sure that everybody's got all their stuff straight. So coming back to this business licensing vendor, as we transition to the new vendor, I just want to make sure that the new vendor, you know, that part of what they will be providing as a service to the city of Birmingham is identifying, you know, these businesses that are operating without the proper licensing and you know, getting them in to make sure that they do get all their stuff straight.
All right, Mr. Woods, did you have, Councilor Woods, did you have, was your hand up?
It wasn't, but.
Okay. You want it to be up?
I just want to, do y'all have a business license now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, you did get that?
We do have a business license, and that's why I'm kind of confused. Like, they're saying we're operating without a business license, but we have a business license.
How long ago did you get that? I guess
We
it's
had
after
that since we opened it up. We just didn't have a liquor license. That's like, really confused about that.
And after he told us what we needed to do,
We came and got it
we
done.
did everything we needed to do. So after that, that's why I felt so, like, after we did what y'all told us to do, it's still a no.
It's like y'all telling us to do, like, to get our stuff together, but as we doing it, y'all like, no. Like, we started with a business license. The problem was we didn't have a liquor license. Once we was told that we shut our business down we've been doing this since January, to get the liquor license. We've always had a business license. So I don't know, like, why are you saying we don't have a business license and we do?
No, I don't think we were saying that. You can't sell alcohol without liquor license. There's a difference. So you can have a business license and operate, but if you're trying to sell liquor, think about like every restaurant business you've seen have a liquor license. You usually see it somewhere, but
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you don't see it, that means illegally. So we're saying without a liquor license, not a business
Okay.
license, yeah.
I'm confused again because we were renting the club out. We were never.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so we still have to.
Let's stay on track here. This isn't a classroom.
Mr. Chair, or
Where we
Mr.
we have an
Are
item
you the
before us.
moderator? The chair, I guess, the chair.
Okay. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I guess clarity, can we get dates and things on when business licenses were actually issued? Because it was said that y'all were operating illegally, and I think it's important to be clear. So I think if we could get,
Someone from tax and revenue.
yeah, if we can get those pertinent kind of dates, I'm gonna move to table this item, and we can pick that back up once we can get some hard dates on when, if they were operating illegally. It does sound like, you can't sell alcohol if you don't have a liquor license. But I am interested to know whether or not you had a business license when you had that. So I'll move to table this until we can gather that.
Second.
Y'all,
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
So this item is tabled. We'll take it back up for consideration when we have additional information. So I think the next item is item number 10.
Yes, sir. Item 10 is.
what that means is we're gonna pick that back up this meeting, so don't leave.
Yeah, don't stray away.
Your item is.
Have a seat. Okay.
Yep. So,
Item 10 is on page 4. It's a resolution relative to the application of Southside Ventures LLC for a lounge retail liquor class 1 license to be used at Dave's Pub, 1128 20th Street South, Birmingham, Alabama, 35205. And it's the hearing of all interested parties.
Motion on the item. Second.
all right, it's been motioned properly seconded. Counselor Tate, I believe you.
Yes, wanted to take this item off consent and call for a 2-week delay on this item.
Okay, we have a motion for a 2-week delay.
Can we hear the reason for the 2-week delay? Did they request it?
Did they request it? I'm gonna refer this back to Mr. McDaniel.
Mr. President, Councilor Abbott, the Public Safety Committee Chair received additional and new information after the item moved through the Public Safety Committee about the business, and the 2-week delay will give the ABC Board an opportunity to further investigate the applicant.
Okay, because they came to the neighborhood meeting and they were kind of desperate to get their license in a hurry, because they couldn't open without it. So I was just curious to know why. So thank you.
That is the reason. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so I'll second the 2-week motion to delay.
Ready
We're
for it?
ready to vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, so that item is delayed for 2 weeks. I believe the next item is item number 39.
Yes, sir. And it is, item 39 is on page, it's on page 31. And authorizing the mayor to execute any other document. All right. Councilmember Abbott. Councilmember Clark is absent. Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Smitherman, she's out. Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
And Council President O'Quinn.
Aye. Now move the item.
Second.
All right. Did you have any discussion?
Is there any discussion on this item? All right. We're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item passes. See, Attorney Lawson has entered the room, so I will offer a motion to take number three. Is it 3? Yes, item 3 back up for consideration.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, Attorney Lawson, there were some questions relative to dates of business licenses for the Green Bean.
Good morning, Yolanda Lawson, Tax and License Division. The information that we have for the address of the current business in question shows that they are not currently in compliance with the city of Birmingham. So if they have something different, we would need to see that, but according to the information that we have in our system and in our records, they are not currently in compliance.
Ms. Lawson, it's my understanding that the last time the business was licensed was in 2015. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, sir, for that address.
Okay. So the business was licensed almost a decade ago. All right. Thank you. Does any council members have any more questions for Attorney Lawson?
Are we ready?
Because no, is that a no? No more questions from Ms. Lawson?
So I don't have any questions for Attorney Lawson.
But
like I
we'll
said,
continue the hearing.
I will continue to hear, and I ain't got no problem with that. I'm sitting here listening. I ain't say a word.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lawson.
Yes, sir.
Always good to see you. All right. I have several questions for the applicants based on their testimony at Public Safety, based on what they've said today, and based on what they've advertised on their social media. If you guys will come forward, please. One thing that I've noticed on your social media is not only have you guys been operating for quite some time, but you also advertise things that are against ABC law, like all-you-can-drink parties. You advertise that y'all have hookah. You have videos with strippers. You advertise that there's a pool table. The videos do show strippers and pole. At least one pole is visible in the videos. So hookah needs its own license with the city of Birmingham. A pool table needs its own license. Exotic dancers need their own license in the city of Birmingham. And first and foremost, you do need a business license. Now, you guys said that you did have a business license, but Tax and License just said that there's not been a license at that location since 2015. So can y'all help explain that discrepancy?
I had did my LLC papers with, like local people, and I was informed that everything that I needed to run a business was done through them. That's why I was misled, and that's why we're in the predicament that we in. She said, like said, me not knowing do not make it right. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
The license actually was just for the state, not Birmingham's, right?
Okay, so you had your LLC paperwork, and the state doesn't issue business licenses, so you had LLC paperwork. Okay. So you also mentioned that you had children from the Boys and Girls Club at your location. Can you tell me about that? Because
You know what I'm saying? He played AG Gaston football since he was little, so he's a coach. So by him being a coach, they came to us, was like, hey, could we throw an event there to raise money? Sure, it's for the kids. My son plays, so yes, y'all can. Whatever, they help the community. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We here to help. You know what I'm saying? For even the people who used to come to my grandma's spot, they still come through there because they know me. They know a household face. But there was that.
So, did you or did you not have children to, I'm just trying to clarify, were children ever present there, or was it a fundraiser?
Yes, children have came in to watch films.
Okay.
Because they don't want to be in the
This is
sun.
what you guys are advertising on your social media. Several naked women, all you can drink, and y'all are having children into this establishment when this is what's going on.
Those are not the hours. I'm sorry.
Of course, I hope it's not. If not, we need a criminal investigation. But this is not, if I were a parent and I learned that there was an illegal strip club operating underground and you're advertising all you can drink, you're advertising hookah, you're advertising all sorts of pool tables, and y'all had children into this establishment, doesn't matter what happens the rest of the hours. If I were a parent, I would be absolutely horrified that my child had been to an establishment like this with strip poles. Maybe I'm old school, I don't know, but I would be concerned about my child's safety. I would be concerned about their participation in the Boys and Girls Club if they were being taken to a underground strip club. And I am extremely worried that our defense is when we operate a business illegally, how much good we're doing for the community. And I think we heard that a few times in public safety this past week, where we had a preacher come forward and say that the one thing that would be great for West Birmingham is if we had another liquor store. The defense of doing good for the community, I don't think is valid when you're operating an underground establishment where we know we have issues with violence.
Council Williams?
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that if the applicant's request is denied today, that they are not able to come back with a new application for a period of 1 year. Okay, so obviously the council has lots of questions and there are significant reasons for concern. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice. And this was, Counselor, I got to give Pro Tem credit for suggesting this. I highly recommend that you withdraw your application at this time.
That's what I was going to do.
May I withdraw?
All right. So item number 3 has been withdrawn by the applicant from the council agenda. We'll proceed to item number 42.
Attorney King. So that was for revocation, but if this is a denial, then they will be able to come back at a later date. There's no time limitation.
On a denial. Okay.
Councilor Moore, you have something you have to say?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. I was just gonna clarify, because this is an event space, correct?
That is correct.
So that means that multiple different types of events can take place in this one
Correct.
location. Because I know that there was a double down on the rhetoric about this being a unsafe underground strip club that operates and things of that nature. So I was just trying to clarify that, because this is probably, the most information that we've gotten from from an economic development chair about how a business should be established and set up and things of that nature. And I'm just curious as to whether or not, we'll get more information on the front end for people to help them understand what they need to be doing, as opposed to on the back end, making an example of folks and trying to embarrass them in front of everybody. So I just wanted to make sure that this was an event space that multiple different events took place in.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
So is this item withdrawn after that? I'm confused. Was the item withdrawn?
I'm confused as well, so anybody who can offer.
I'm gonna turn this back over to Attorney King to explain the next steps that we as a council need to carry out on this item. Thank you, Attorney King.
So it is up to the council at this point to decide if they are going to take a vote, or was this item withdrawn? We need clarification for the record. Did the applicant withdraw, or is the council taking a vote?
So the applicant was advised that if their application was denied, that they would not be able to reapply for a license for a period of 12 months. Is that, you responded that that was correct. So.
And I clarified for revocation. So with the denial, they can come back at a later point.
Okay, so
However,
this is not a revocation, yes.
Correct. This is to grant or deny.
Okay, so in the case of a application for a business license, if it's denied, the applicant can come back whenever they like to apply again. Okay.
That's correct.
So it's not the case that if they were denied today, that they would have to wait a year.
That is correct.
Okay. So just for the purpose of clarity, do you all wish to continue to have your?
To my understanding, she was saying if we was denied today, we'll be able to go get our stuff together and come back, and it won't be a year? That what she just said?
That's right. That's right. So
I want to clarify for the record, I can't guarantee one way or the other in which the council will vote. So if it's denied today, I cannot guarantee that when you all come back that it will be granted.
We'd just like to withdraw if possible. We would just like to withdraw if possible and come back.
Okay.
Council Woods.
I would ask Chief if it's possible, since y'all are here, to get with city staff and just talk them through the next steps of where you need to go to, because you need to go get your business license first.
Yes.
You need to have your business license before you take that next step. And I think we have gotta, since you're here, go ahead and try to take that step. And let's get those things in motion and go from there. So. Thank you.
Mr. President.
All right, so I think, do we need to motion, what number is this?
So I just want to be clear. It's the applicant's request. Is the applicant wishing to proceed or withdraw?
Withdraw.
Withdraw. So applicant is withdrawing their request, so it's no longer up for consideration. Now we can proceed to.
That's correct. It's withdrawn.
Yes.
There's no vote.
That's correct, because they're withdrawing their request. So item number 40 is next on our agenda.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all so much.
So how do we call an item up and not vote on anything if it's brought forward by a committee?
Can the clerk elaborate on that, Attorney King, or can you elaborate on item 3?
I'll just
get clarity.
Going to state, so before the call of the vote, they withdrew, so it needs to be stated for the record that this item has been withdrawn from the applicant.
Okay. So for the record, the applicant withdrew the application for the record
Right,
for item 3. And so we'll turn it back over to the clerk.
right.
So,
Madam Clerk, item number 40, please.
Item number 40 is on page 31. An ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute for and as the act of said city a ground lease with Veranda at Graymont School LLC, under which the city of Birmingham will lease the former Graymont School property located at 300 8th Avenue West to Veranda at Graymont School for a term of 30 years at a rent of $1 per year, with the property to be redeveloped to create 101 affordable rental housing units for senior citizens and an affordable housing development and funding agreement with Veranda at Graymont School LLC, under which the city will provide $3,500,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funding to Veranda at Graymont School LLC at the form of a forgivable loan, with such funding to be used in connection with the redevelopment of the former Graymont School property. This is an item of permanent operations, so we will need unanimous consent first.
Motion for unanimous consent.
Second.
Okay, that's canceled.
All right.
All right.
All right, now a motion on the item.
No, we got to vote on
Oh,
that.
yes, I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
I had to get to that point. Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark is absent. Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman is absent. Councilmember Tate is absent. Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
And Council President Okoye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, now a motion on the item.
Second.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
And the second?
It's Council Williams.
Thank you. Now that item is before you.
All right. Chief Sparks.
Yes, Council. Are there questions?
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
We'll make this short because I think it's lunchtime, I think. We're actually very excited about this project. Please recall that we all stood under the revival tent sweating when we received a $50 million check for neighborhood choice grant. This building is in the footprint of what we're doing to do more housing for the Smithfield community. And so we're repurposing this building for affordable housing. With that, there's a conversion of this building, and the deal is to support this developer to repurpose this building. It is in the form of a forgivable loan, but this goes directly at the heart of what we're doing to support and accelerate growth for neighborhood revitalization in this footprint in the Smithfield community. I think it cleared 2 of your committees, if I recall as well.
Yeah, Mayor Whiffen, so just for clarity, the existing Graymont School building is part of the plans for that piece of property. There's also, as a component of the plan, additional construction of additional buildings on that piece of property as well. Is that correct?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Right, so just tell us a little bit more about what the vision is for the Graymont School property, and specifically what this item, how that factors into the total vision for the property.
Certainly. So it will be about 101 units of affordable housing specifically for seniors. On the existing building, there will be about 60 units of housing, as well as an early learning center on the ground and below floors. And then there will be new construction on the site that will include the rest of those units that will again be senior living.
So will the construction as it relates to the existing buildings, impact the facade of the building? I mean, my understanding is that Graymont School is, historic, right?
Yes.
So tell us how the new construction impacts the exterior appearance.
Yes, so we will maintain predominantly the existing exterior of the building. We are leveraging historic tax credits, and so there are requirements for what the facade needs to maintain. However, there will be upgrades that need to happen to the building as far as ADA accessibility, and also to just make more accessible egress to the courtyard, the garden, and other things that we will be doing on site. So you will see some changes to the facade, but they will be minimal on the existing building.
Okay, Councilor Moore, you had a question?
Yes, I think that this is a beautiful project. My only gripe, Mr. Bear, Director Thomas, is that I'm trying to understand why wouldn't this be something that comes before the Community Development Committee?
I think we just missed it. I apologize. I'm not gonna stand up here and make up anything. I'm not sure why,
Got you.
but I apologize, sir.
Now, because these are things that, we would love to be able to see.
Yes.
That come before community development.
Let me say this to you publicly, if you don't mind.
Okay.
We'll just make sure, particularly as it relates to anything related to neighborhood choice grant and all the things we're doing around the revitalization of this area. Let's make sure it clears Community Development Committee as well. We'll make sure that happens.
Because me and my colleagues, we feel like we're on the vacation committee because, we vacate a lot of stuff, but, we're trying to be a part of community development, so
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Very, very fair, sir.
All right, other questions? Council Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess, is there going to be another agreement coming with the developer? Or is this the only thing we're getting?
So we will be bringing agreements forward as we have phases approved from HUD. So this is our first phase of the Choice Neighborhood Development. Each phase that we have has to be approved through HUD prior to then being able to determine what the budget is, what our portion of leverage will go towards that development. And as those things come forward, we will be bringing those before the body for approval and the committees, all of them.
Okay, so two questions. So one, where are we at in terms of like the actual agreement with this developer, Veranda at Graymont School LLC? Is there like an agreement that would be between the city and the developer, and where is that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the agreement that is before you, that was drafted by OCA, to provide the property at a ground lease of $1 per year and the $3.5 million subsidy. And so the land and the subsidy agreements are before you.
Oh, so I'm in item 40 in the packet. I don't see that agreement. And then I guess my other question is, I guess it would be an agreement, but what's their criteria associated with this 3.5 million being forgivable?
Yes, so it will be in the terms of a deferred and forgivable loan. Of course, as long as they make the units affordable during the compliance period, which is typically like 10 to 20 years to make those units affordable, and also, of course, maintaining the site.
What AMI, percentage of AMI are we talking about when we say affordable?
Yeah, so this is going to be below 80% of AMI. So for instance, that's a family of four, no more than $67,000 a year. And for one person, which most of these units all of them will be catered towards seniors, one bedrooms, that's about below $30,000 a year. But this development will predominantly cater to folks that are at extremely low income. Mostly because they'll be seniors.
I would just add this is in partnership with the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District and is replacement housing for the public housing, Smithfield Public Housing site.
And then lastly, what is the overall projection of the project that we, as far as the dollar value? As far as what? Dollar value?
So the total project is somewhere near $27 million to complete the 2 developments on site at the Early Learning Center that'll be on the ground floor.
Well, I guess what the 3.5 million forgivable loan is tied to, that whatever the chunk of that project, is that what you just answered?
Yes, so it'll be tied to the total development cost of $27 million, and the 3.5 will actually support the vertical construction of the development.
Good work.
So this is not just a subset of the total project at Graymont School. This is the whole project.
Yes, so the 3.5 is the gap that was needed to make the project feasible. Okay.
And I know that often these construction projects, they set up an LLC for the purpose of the development. Is this a developer that we know?
Yes, so the Veranda LLC is actually made up of the Housing Authority, is a part of that development group. Integral, which is out of Atlanta, they did Park Place. And then you have Rural Enterprises, which is a new developer from Atlanta, D.C. area, but they're well-versed in multifamily housing as well. And so the entity was created for tax credit purposes because you need that LLC. And so the Veranda LLC will apply for 4% tax credits, and they need the subsidy as well as the site control to apply for the 4% tax credits.
All right. Well, I know the residents of Smithfield and College Hills too are excited for this project, and it's a really meaningful step in terms of the larger Choice Neighborhood project as well. So exciting. So after this item is approved, what's sort of the timeline on design and engineering, construction, and all of that?
Yes, so we are going through the design engineering phases now. We've been working very closely with other departments within the city. We're looking to begin breaking ground in the fall, hopefully. So that is where we're projected, and that's where we're on target with HUD as we move forward.
Very nice. Additional discussion? Seeing none, I think we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right. Item number 40 is approved. Next item is item number 42.
Item number 42 is on page 32. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the Kroger settlement agreement, Kroger allocation agreement, and subdivision participation and release form on behalf of the city of Birmingham to join the national settlement between Kroger, the state of Alabama, and its participating subdivisions, intended to resolve all opioid claims of the state and local political subdivisions related to Kroger and its related entities in Alabama, under which the settlement will provide funds for abatement of the opioid epidemic in Alabama, will impose transformative changes in the way the settling defendant conduct their business, and allow for a broad range of approved abatement uses. The settlement funds will be allocated by an agreement reached between Alabama and their local governments titled Kroger Allocation Agreement.
All right. Move the item.
Second.
All right. Councilor Clark had asked for this item to be removed from the consent agenda. However, she had another obligation that she had to participate in. But her question is really kind of getting at these various opioid settlements that are happening, and really wanting to understand how the city is utilizing the proceeds of those settlements towards addressing the opioid crisis. Attorney King.
So we will be prepared to have a presentation with you all at the next mayor council retreat.
Okay. Additional questions? All right, if not, we're ready for the vote. Councilor Moore, all right, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, so that item is approved.
Okay.
Next items are
Item
items
40.
49. We'd like to take items 49 and 51 at the same time. So could we read both of those items?
Yes, sir. Item 49 is on page 34. A resolution pursuant to sections 11-40-1 and 11-47-19 Code of Alabama 1975, authorizing the mayor to expend funds in an amount not to exceed $300 and execute contracts with Oscar Wilson to allow Wilson to provide disc jockey services, including equipment, for the Kilo Springs Neighborhood Association's Get to Know Your Neighbor Day on September 7th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 1041 Foul Mile Road, Birmingham. Said funds to come from the Kilo Springs Neighborhood Association. And item 51 is a resolution pursuant to sections 11-40-1 and 11-47-19 Code of Alabama 1975, authorizing the mayor to expend funds in an amount not to exceed $400 and execute contracts with THS Productions to allow THS Productions to provide disc jockey services, including equipment for the Zion City Neighborhood Association's Get to Know Your Neighbor Day on August 3rd, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at East Lake Park, located at 8101 4th Avenue, North Birmingham. Said funds to come from the Zion City Neighborhood Association Fund. I need a motion.
Second.
All right, those items have been motioned and second. Is there any discussion on these items?
Yes, Mr. President, I just wanted to have it read out for the public so that everybody knew that Kilo Springs Neighborhood Association was having their Get to Know Your Neighbor Day on September the 7th, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. On 5 Mile Road, as well as the Zion City Neighborhood Association having theirs on August the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at East Lake Park. And so just wanted to make sure that it was noted.
All right, any additional discussion? We're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, those items are approved. That brings us to, there are no additional items, so it brings us to our council district announcements. Councilor Moore?
Go ahead.
Before we do that, I need to ask a question about all these emails we've gotten about the car wash moratorium that came to us and probably didn't come to y'all. Should they be part of the record of our hearing today? Or
I would have to review and see the extent of what has been sent. So based off of the hearing today, we would just take what the public speaker said as of today. But if you can send that to me just to make sure we have visibility.
okay, we should send it to you and not to Julie.
I'll make sure she gets it.
Yeah, because we've gotten a ton of emails from people who couldn't be here today. And I just wondered if that shouldn't be added into the record somehow.
Well, we have to take what was brought publicly into the record, but we can view that for further purposes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No problem. Councilor
You're
Moore?
just fine. So I'm going to read Councilor Clark's announcements for District 8. Neighborhood meetings. There are no neighborhood meetings this week in District 8. The Birmingham Crossplex will celebrate its birthday on August the 3rd, and you're invited. There will be fun for all ages, games, door prizes, rides, food trucks, and tours of the facility. Also, school supplies and backpacks will be given away thanks to Crime Stoppers and the Birmingham Police Department. The party starts at 10 a.m. and wraps up at noon. Join the Birmingham Police Department for National Night Out on Tuesday, August the 6th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This year, they are hosting a citywide celebration at City Walk, Birmingham. There will be music, activities, and food. National Night Out serves as a platform to enhance positive relationships between law enforcement and the community. Come on out for fun for the whole family. Join the Birmingham Museum of Art for another art and conversation with Angela May, the Associate Director of Learning and Engagement. May will explore the deep spiritual and cultural connections associated with the art of tattooing, discussing the fascinating links between identity, tattoos, and devotion across various cultures. The event takes place on August the 7th from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Also, before each talk at 10:30 a.m., you're invited to the cafe to enjoy coffee and light snacks courtesy of Juniper, our new cafe partners. The lecture begins at 11 a.m. in the auditorium. For more information and tickets, go to artsbma.org. And last, oh, no, it's not last. The 5 Points West community will host their Community Fun Day on August the 10th at the Central Park Rec Center from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come out for free food, music, games, fellowship, and more. Bring your lawn chairs and come and have a good time with your neighbors. Last but not least, if you're looking for a fun way to get active and meet your neighbors, join us every Thursday morning, weather permitting, for a walk around the Crossplex. We meet at the Starbucks and start promptly at 8 a.m. And so for the announcements for and that concludes the announcements for District 8, and I will start District 4. There will be a Woodlawn community meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. at 5529 First Avenue South. And again, that will be a Woodlawn community meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m., 5529 First Avenue South. Just a friendly reminder to all parents and students that school starts next Monday. If you are like me and you have kids at home right now, you are so excited about that. So let's make sure our backpacks are ready and our alarm clocks are set. And if you have not already jumped back on that sleep schedule, please make sure you go ahead and do it. Let me see. We do have several neighborhood association meetings that are going to be taking place. Collegeville takes place every first Monday of each month at Greater New Antioch Baptist Church at 6 p.m. Zion City will take place at 6:30 p.m. on Monday via Zoom. Brownsville Heights will take place at 6 p.m. on Monday at the Brownsville Heights Community Center. Maple Grove will take place on the first Monday at 6 p.m. at the Brownsville Heights Community Center. And yeah, that is that. The Community Development Committee will take place on Tuesday, August the 6th at 2 p.m. in council chambers. All submissions are due by Tuesday, July the 30th to terry.chapman@birminghamal.gov. And I had one more announcement that I wanted to read. Congresswoman Terry Sewell hosts her 13th annual job fair Thursday, August the 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Bessemer Civic Center. That address is 1130 9th Avenue Southwest, Bessemer, Alabama. It's completely free. Admission is completely free. And if you would like to learn more information, please email jobfairal07@gmail.com. Again, the 13th annual job fair, and then you email jobfairal07@gmail.com. And this concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. President. The 5 Points South neighborhood meeting will be held tonight at 6 o'clock at the Highlands United Methodist Church. Next Monday, we have the Glen Iris neighborhood meeting at 6:30 p.m. at St. Elias Maronite Catholic Church. We have a town hall meeting tonight at the Botanical Gardens with the mayor. It will be at 6 o'clock and last until the last question is answered. So we encourage people to come. We know that there are issues with gunfire, murder, short-term rentals, homeless people living in the park. I mean, we've got so many issues, so I know that this is going to be well attended unless people just don't know it's happening. Certainly 311 still works. Call it on your phone or download the My Birmingham 311 app so that you can add photos of the issue you're reporting. And last but not least, we encourage residents of District 3 to go to our website for all of the additional information that we don't have time to talk about at this point. The address is www.bhamdistrict3.com. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right, thank you.
I have District 6 announcements also.
Okay.
And since District 6 is right here, the next Budget and Finance meeting will meet Monday, August 12th at 3:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Submissions are due Wednesday, August 7th by 12 noon. Submissions received after 12 noon will be placed on the next Budget and Finance agenda. Email submissions to laquita.wilson@birminghamal.gov and ethan.harris@birminghamal.gov. The District 6 office will host a fraud prevention seminar on Thursday, July 31st at 10 a.m. at West End Library located at 1348 Tuscaloosa Avenue Southwest, 35211, where Sheriff Mike Petway will be the speaker. That's tomorrow. No, July 31st isn't tomorrow. Okay. The District 6 office will host a farmer's market on August 10th from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. at Memorial Park, located at 524 6th Avenue South. They will have fresh fruits and vegetables, so please come join them. For more information on the exciting events happening in District 6, visit our website at www.d6bham.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. Couple announcements. The Spring Lake Neighborhood Association will meet on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at Huffman High School in the library. The Echo Highlands Neighborhood Association will meet this Thursday at 7 p.m. via Zoom. I want to encourage all residents to get out and participate in your neighborhood association. Also, a special thank you to Rebirth Christian Fellowship. They hosted their back-to-school bash this Saturday, provided school supplies, haircuts, food and games, and even had a little fun in the rain a little bit. So the bounce house turned into the water park. So we appreciate them and all that they do in the community. Also wanted to offer some condolences to Councilor Abbott. Was saddened to hear the news on yesterday, but like I told you, definitely appreciate and admire the kind of dedication you had to really taking care of your mother. And so that was something I think that everybody should aspire to, and was saddened to hear that news. So thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. And echoing my colleague's sentiment, I think that, just to reiterate, Valerie, it's rare that you have someone in your life for the length of time that you had your mother. So I know that she was special to you, and I know that vice versa. But in light of my colleague's comments, I think we should offer a resolution of sympathy for Miss Shirley Anderton on behalf of. I'm sure Miss Abbott wanted to do it, but I don't know if emotionally you were able to. So I think as a whole, I think all of us would like to offer that to you. So
second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
All right.
Okay.
Move the resolution.
All right.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
All right. Also would like to move for a resolution of sympathy for India Bailey's Uncle Ben. Ben Harrison passed away this past Sunday, and he was an active member of his community, and he will be missed. And my condolences go out to Valencia, who is his wife, and all of the Harrison family, who I think if you've lived in Birmingham for a little while, you know the Harrison family. So anyway, I'd like to make a motion to move for a resolution of sympathy for Ben Harrison.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, thank y'all for that. The Downtown Redevelopment Authority has 3 vacancies. All interested applicants should submit their resume to India Bailey. You can do that by mail at 710 North 20th Street and just put attention to our office. Or you can do it very easily by email at india.bailey@birminghamal.gov. All resumes should be received by 5 p.m. Friday, August the 9th. Economic Development and Tourism will have its work session August the 6th in Conference Room D&E. Please have your submissions also to India by the end of the day on Thursday, August the 1st. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you very much. These are announcements for District 7. I don't want to make you cry or make you feel any sadder, Councilor Abbott, but I do want to offer my sympathy and condolences, and I know how much it meant to my sister and I when you came to our mother's service, and it just meant so much to me. And as Councilor Williams said, to have had your mother in your life, the length of time that you did is such a blessing. I only had my mom for 89 years. You think, well, I wasn't 89, but she was. But, you know, just thinking of having your mom with you for that period of time. And you were such a dedicated daughter, and just thank you for that. You've given us a lot to try to walk in those footsteps. So thank you so much. But truly appreciate you. Condolences are with you. These are announcements. August 2nd, the Jones Valley Neighborhood Association will meet at 4 p.m. in the Powderly Library. We do have 2 back-to-school events going on this week. As Councilor Moore said earlier, Monday will be here before you know it. So not only do I hope you've got those book bags and school supplies, but you've kind of detoxed your children on staying up late all night. And you got them getting ready to go to school, or they're going to have a hard time on Monday. I know how that used to be. So I do want to thank the Southwest Alliance. They did hold a back-to-school drive, a book bag drive last Saturday. So thank them for providing that service to our residents. On tomorrow, in the Oxmoor Valley Gymnasium, they're hosting the Oxmoor Valley School, Ms. Dr. Love. They're hosting a back-to-school bash. Their motto is moving from good to great. They've had a lot of success last year, and they're looking for another stellar year this year. So that will be at the Oxmoor Valley Elementary School, and that'll be in the Ox Valley Gymnasium from 5 to 7 p.m. You'll have an opportunity, parents, to meet the teachers. There'll be rally, music, bouncy house, food vendors, and more, and we'll have a table there to give you all the information that you like about District 7 and how we could be better neighbors. So please join us there tomorrow, 5 to 7. On Saturday, the District 7 back-to-school book bag giveaway will be held at 9 a.m. until all the book bags are gone, and that'll be at the Greater Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, 2135 Jefferson Avenue Southwest. Again, that is while supplies last. I've seen so many flyers across the city, so there are a lot of organizations that are trying to provide to be sure that our children are ready for school day one. So in the words of Councilor Moore as well, please get your child registered so they're not standing there on Monday trying to get registered, and let's do our part to get our children ready for school. The Gracilla Heights neighborhood will meet Monday, August 5th at 3 p.m. at the Mary Doris Center, and those are my announcements. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Abbott, just want to offer my condolences. And just want to say I recognize how big a part of your life your mother was. It wasn't too terribly long ago that you and she were walking through, Southside on daily walks. But I know, especially working side by side with you, how, big a consideration she was in your day-to-day activities, literally having to, make her your first consideration in everything that you do. So I know that's going to be a big transition for you moving forward. So our thoughts with you.
Thank you.
In other business, District 5 Wahoma Neighborhood Association will meet Thursday, August 1st at 6 p.m. at Southern Museum of Flight. The Transportation and Infrastructure Committee will meet Monday, August 12th at 2 p.m. If you have any submissions, please contact Kimberly Phillips at kimberly.phillips@birminghamal.gov. And just want to remind folks again that we have a couple of great farmers markets that operate every Saturday, one in Eastlake and one in the South Side neighborhood at Pepper Place. Both of those you can go and find fresh fruits and vegetables and lots of other stuff available. The Eastlake Farmers Market is every Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon at Eastlake UMC. The Pepper Place Market is 7 a.m. to noon at Pepper Place. And I especially want to remind our seniors that Alabama Department of Agriculture has a Senior Bucks program where you can get a $50 voucher per month to use at farmers markets. So that's, something that I know a lot of people, if they knew was available, would take advantage of. And if you are on SNAP benefits, some of the farmers markets offer double bucks. So can make your benefits go even farther. So please take advantage of that. We have no speakers who signed up on our list today. I do want to recognize our officers on duty. As is usually the case, we have Cedric Pinkert, who is here with us from City Hall, and we have two officers from West Precinct, Officer Brooks and Officer Vic Roy. Thank you for being here with us this morning. And with that, I believe we
Mr. President.
Yes.
On the District 6 announcements, July 31st is tomorrow, not Thursday, so please show up for the Fraud Prevention Seminar with Sheriff Mike Petway tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the West End Library rather than Thursday.
All right, thank you.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, meeting adjourned. Please note that we have a meeting of the 911 Commission.
Thank you. I've